What's going on, guys? It is Dave again. I'm with my buddy Matt today, building him his new computer. He has consoles and he's played on consoles for a while, including the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. But he wants to get into 1440p gaming, and this is the best way to do it since consoles just aren't there yet. He does have a Mac, and he likes Mac for his content creation that he does on his YouTube channels, but he can't really game on that. So today we have an RTX 2070 Super, a 2700X, and 16 gigs of 3200 megahertz RAM. Let's see what we can build. So, let's build.
We got the Thermaltake Versa H18 case apart and got the Asus TUF B450 motherboard installed. For anyone new to building, with the AM4 socket, the easiest way to tell how the processor goes in is by lining up the arrowed corner on the processor with the one corner that is different from the rest. Once I showed that to Matt, I got the Ryzen 2700X in. Word of advice for any new builder: put the processor and wraith cooler on before you install the motherboard. This thing sucked to get on. My friend Matt did say it the best though.
God, that was a fight.
Next, I moved on to getting the RAM in. To stick within budget, we got 3200 MHz G-Skill Ripjaws RAM, but I did check Newegg and you can get 3600 MHz RAM for about 10, maybe 15 bucks more, and that's more ideal for running an AMD processor. The Thermaltake Versa H18 case actually comes with a rear 120mm fan pre-installed. To get the most out of the RGB lights on the HD120 fans, we took the rear fan out and installed it in the front bottom spot. We then installed the HD120 fans on the rear, top, and on the front middle and front top spots. A warning to anyone who wants this case: if you plan on using a top fan, pay attention to where your CPU power connector is on your motherboard, and you'll find out why shortly. In order to get the crucial MX500 500GB SSD in, I did have to remove the front top and middle fans. With the original budget that Matt had given me, I had spec'd out a RTX 2060 Super. Needless to say, Matt was not satisfied with the performance that the 2060 Super offered, so he said screw the budget and picked up an EVGA XC Ultra RTX 2070 Super. Matt decided in the middle of building that he wanted more storage, so he picked up a Western Digital Black 500GB NVMe drive. So I removed the graphics card, installed the NVMe drive, and then reinstalled the graphics card. Next, I let Matt have the honors in turning on his computer for the first time. But in typical Matt fashion, all he wanted to do was mess with the RGB light settings on the HD120 fans. The power on self-test went great. But before I get into the wiring, this is the part where I need to point out the placement of your CPU power connector on your motherboard is very important if you are going to use this case. As you see, it is right up against the corner of the top fan, and we did have to use a little bit of force to get the plug actually in. The Thermaltake Versa H18 case, when it came to wiring, had plenty of tie-down points, but not in the greatest of spots. I did have issues getting the wires from the Corsair RGB controller tied down because above where the crucial SSD is mounted, there isn't really any tie-down points. I would have also liked to have seen the SSD drives mounted upward or downward because the cables coming off go right into the area of the main 24-pin connector, which is already big enough. But for a $50 to $60 case, this is still a decent case with a tempered glass panel and can still get the job done. I finished the last little bit of wiring and got the case back together. I let Matt have the satisfaction of peeling the plastic off the tempered glass panel, and then we got the system up, set up the XMP profile for the RAM and the BIOS, and got Windows installed. Matt absolutely loves his computer, and it plays any game that he's thrown at it on his 144Hz G-Sync monitor without any problems. Building your own PC is just another reason to not buy it, you DIY it. You know what's in it, and you know the quality of parts that you bought. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. We'll see you in the next one.